So in Politico, there's a story. The FBI says Iran sent hacked Trump info to Biden campaign staffers. They sent it to the news media, a bunch of different places. They tried to hack into the Biden campaign and were unsuccessful, it seems. So they tried to do both, basically just throwing a monkey wrench in the entire system. Yeah. I've seen this shitty music, Frank. I have. It's brutal. Okay, so, but he goes, Iran hacked, all caps, Trump campaign to give Democrats advantage in 2024 election. Trump demands answers. Does he? Does he? Okay, maybe he'll play a clip of Trump demanding answers.
We've got this one from Politico.com.
I have to say, Tim Pool's reading voice, or his I'm getting ready to read voice, is singularly one of the most annoying things he does. And that's saying a lot, besides always wearing the same hat. Like that beanie is the equivalent. Hey, branding is as branding does. And that beanie will one day go right up there with Woody Allen's glasses and Gary Busey's container of half-eaten chicken McNuggets he brings with him everywhere.
FBI says Iran sent hacked Trump info to Biden campaign staffers.
Yeah, did they request them?
Emails were sent in June and July to individuals associated with the Biden campaign. They say the emails sent to those of the Biden campaign contained an excerpt taken from stolen, non-public material.
Stolen? Oh, that's how you pronounce Stollen. Stolen. All right.
Material from former President Trump's campaign. The Office of the Director of National Intelligence, the FBI, and CISA said in a statement. The Iranians have also continued trying to leak non-public Trump campaign material to media organizations since June, the agency said. The latest disclosure shed new light on the myriad tactics Iran has employed to damage the Trump campaign and how persistent it remains despite U.S. officials calling out its first attempt to leak stolen campaign documents this August.
Yes, by the way, the information he is getting is coming from Politico, which is famously corporate media, and their source is the FBI, who on multiple occasions, Tim has said is a completely untrustworthy source that is trying to destroy Donald Trump and must be defunded. Anyway, sorry, back to him quoting them being quoted by somebody else he says you shouldn't listen to.
Politico first reported on the attempted hack and leak effort that month. Yes,
leak effort that month. Yeah, we can read it too. It's right there.
Clear to what extent the then Biden campaign read or made use of the information the Iranians sent. The three agencies said the emails were unsolicited and campaign staff did not reply to them.
Right. So clearly there's a conspiracy here. Obviously the deep state.
Morgan Finkelstein, a spokesperson
oh dear.
for the campaign of Vice President Kamala Harris, which replaced Biden, said in a statement Wednesday, "We have cooperated with the appropriate law enforcement authorities since we were made aware of the information being sent to the Biden campaign personnel." Whoa. This means that Kamala Harris is a stooge of Iranians. The Iranians. I was going to say something else there. The Kamala Harris campaign is
how? If there's okay. All right. He's obviously just talking out of his ass.
Secretly. Wow. Come on. When these companies try to screw with us and lie, cheat, and steal, okay?
These companies? Is Iran an LLC? Or I'm confused.
I'm not going to blame the Harris campaign for this. Let's not be silly, if you get what I'm trying to say.
I think you're trying to use sarcasm, which is what idiots have instead of a sense of humor.
Not aware of any material being sent directly to the campaign. A few individuals were targeted on their personal emails with what looked like a spam or phishing attempt. We condemn in the strongest terms any effort by foreign actors to interfere in U.S. elections, including this unwelcome and unacceptable malicious activity. Carolyn Levitt, Trump's campaign spokesperson, said the development is further proof the Iranians are actively interfering in the election to help Kamala Harris and Joe Biden because they know Trump will restore his tough sanctions and stand against their reign of terror.
Trump loosened the sanctions on Iranian oil and allowed them to sell to South Korea. That's why they had $6 billion in an account in South Korea from that exchange. Because after news broke that Trump had done this, he shut it off because he got caught. And then that money sat in a bank account untouched. And that was the money that was going to be given back to Iran in exchange. It had not been paid out from South Korea. It was going to be paid out to Iran in exchange for the hostages. We got the hostages out, and then we reinstated the sanctions and never gave them the money. So the money still sits in a South Korean bank.
Kamala and Biden must come clean on whether they used the hacked material given to them by the Iranians to hurt Trump. What
is their internal documents about how Trump is going to pick the worst vice president he can possibly find? And they just, how they respond, they just rub their hands together.
Did they know, and when did they know it?
How do you not know what's wrong with Trump? Honestly, what's going to leak from there? This motherfucker doesn't even use email because he doesn't trust the people around him. Seriously, are we seeing some of the videos about J.D. Vance coming out because it was in the review material when they were trying to pick who their VPs might be? And yet all of it's on the internet anyways, and it would take you about 10 minutes on your own. Who the fuck needs Iran's help to go after Trump and J.D. Vance at this point?
During a rally Wednesday night in New York, Trump accused...
what did they know about Trump blathering and boring the fuck out of people at his rallies and people walking out? And when did they know it except when they were watching him do it?
Accused Iran of foreign election interference, but said he was unsure what material the country's hackers sent to his former opponent's campaign. Iran hacked into my campaign. I don't know what the hell they found. I'd like to find out. Couldn't have been too exciting, he said. Politico first reported in August that Trump campaign was the victim of a hack and leak campaign later tied by federal authorities to the private sector companies private sector companies to Iran.
Yes, two entities that you trust fully. Good. I do too. Look at that. A bridge is being made. I trust the FBI. Federal authorities did a great job. And they're to be, yes, Tim, let's congratulate them together in a moment of bipartisan. No, they're still fucking with them. So maybe nothing was taken. Maybe they hacked it themselves. Maybe it wasn't the Iranians after all.
After Politico was among the media groups that received stolen campaign documents. The FBI has been...
You mean the people that wrote the article you're reading right now?
Tracking this activity, has been in contact with the victims, and will continue to investigate and gather information in order to pursue and disrupt threat actors.
Also, asshole, why are you reading this article? We know what the story is. Get on with it.
Maybe the play itself. Know what I mean by that? The information is not the play. The hacked materials is not the play.
No, the fact that the Trump campaign is so poorly run is the play, showing that look how simple it was to hack the dumbasses that work for Donald Trump. Imagine what we could do once they get back into office. Also, we may or may not have just been given this shit.
Iran can easily blast out a bunch of emails claiming they have information, starting a news story where Trump then says they're being helped by Iran. And what happens? Divisions are sown the moment you accuse your political opponents of being funded or fueled or inspired by our enemies.
So the Iranians don't have anything. They're just tricking Trump into accusing Harris of stuff, and Harris is the innocent victim in this. Well, that's a twist.
Sorry, that's just true. So I'm not going to blame Kamala Harris or Joe Biden or Democrats because Iran is trying to screw with us. And I think it's silly when we talk about the Russia situation that...
What Russia situation would that be? Oh, the one where you're being paid by them. Yes, right.
We are fanning the flames of division based off a story that claims Russia is trying to fan the flames of division.
Ah, I see. It's a double where they, it's like a cootie catcher of truth and lies. Mm-hmm.
How about we just say, guys, they're tricking us?
Right. And stop watching your show, I guess. It's a good idea. I like it. So, guys, they're tricking us, and they're starting with Tim Pool. They start, first they came for the sponge-headed dipshits among us, and I said nothing. And then they moved on to the people whose brains were made out of sticks, and I said nothing. And then they came and tried to fuck with my brain, which was made out of bricks, and they couldn't. They huffed, they puffed, and I told them to fuck off.
Okay, let's keep our political disputes to the American people and stop playing the game they're trying to make us play.
I gotta say this sounds like something you're trying to bank online for your defense.
Otherwise, I suppose we get the worst.
Otherwise, I suppose we get the worst. Okay, well, yeah. Hey, look, not all sentences have to mean something.
Go from the New Republic. New emails expose election officials' plot to unleash chaos, to swing things in Trump's favor. This is exactly what I'm talking about. Where we're headed.
Is it where we're headed? Sorry, is this suddenly my fault?
Everything is a Trump secret plot. This country is divided, and I don't think it matters if foreign interference is going to be the key to dividing us. We're divided now.
I see. So we shouldn't even pay attention to this Iran story. It may or may not even be true, and even if it is, just because it's not tied to the Harris campaign and they didn't have any involvement in it or whatever, and and I can name my video based after the idea that they did it on purpose and just kind of roll back and kind of couch what I'm saying in bullshit. We shouldn't let Iran divide us just because I can't find some way of pointing the finger at the Harris campaign. And then when evidence is found that Trump's people who are working with him are attempting to fuck with the election, can you really believe anything? I mean, it's just, can't we all just, why are we even reading this stuff? Watch me read it.
I don't see how we come together. They say Republicans are suppressing the vote because they're evil fascists. Whoopi Goldberg says it's not both sides, it's one side. Meanwhile, anti-Trump extremists on the left are trying to kill the president.
Sorry, you mean the independent who voted for Trump and the guy who was registered as a Republican? Both? You mean Vivek Ramaswamy fans?
Well, we presumably on the left.
No, we don't have to presume at all.
Jamie Raskin said Congress must disqualify Trump, predicted civil war conditions in this country. That's right. Quote, so it's going to be up to us on January 6, 2025 to tell the rampaging Trump mob that he's disqualified. Raskin actually said at an event that were Trump to win, Democrats will disqualify him on January 6, 2025.
Tell the rampaging Trump mobs that why would they be? Hold on, real quick, stupid. I obviously neither of us has read this article, and it does say far left rep Raskin. So I'm assuming there's a bit of a slant to this article. Why would they be rampaging Trump mobs if he won? Are you saying, Tim Pool, that maggots are inherently violent and simple-minded? Well, actually, sure.
They'll just say, we don't care that he won. He's disqualified. We will not certify this election.
Yet again, why would they be rampaging? All right.
You don't need Iran. You don't need China or Russia. The Democrats are doing it fine by themselves. They say that January 6th was an insurrection. They want the narrative to be.
But no. I would like to say for the record, I do not believe January 6th was an insurrection. I believe January 6th was a failed insurrection and that everyone involved was a fucking loser. And thank God for that, or they might have been successful. It might have been an insurrection, but it wasn't, because the people who ran it, from Trump to Giuliani and Roger Stone and Steve Bannon and all that crowd, they were such raging fuck-ups, and none of them have two brain cells to rub together, that they were incapable of pulling off an insurrection. They were fucking stupid. And again, not an insurrection, a failed insurrection.
That the right is hell-bent on the destruction of this country.
Well, I mean, I think suspending the Constitution and being a dictator and all that kind of shit. And of course, again, Tim doesn't give a fuck about women's rights. He's not in a relationship with one. And is probably, in his goal-setting workbook, he's got die alone written in there as like with a big asterisk next to it, like go for it.
This video clip making the rounds is actually from earlier in the year.
What can be put into the Constitution can slip away from you very quickly. And the greatest example going on right now before our very eyes is Section 3 of the 14th Amendment, which they're just disappearing with a magic wand, as if it doesn't exist, even though it could not be clearer what it's stating. And so, they want to kick it to Congress. So it's going to be up to us on January 6, 2025, to tell the rampaging Trump mobs that he's disqualified. And then we need bodyguards for everybody in Civil War conditions, all because the 9 justices, not all of them, but these justices who have not many cases to look at every year, not that much work to do, a huge staff, great protection, simply do not want to do their job and interpret what the great 14th Amendment means. And I'm glad that Sherilyn's creating her new center so we can bring that.
And there it was.
Yeah, it sounded, I mean, Jesus, there's don't fire until you see the whites of their eyes. Hold, and Jamie Raskin talking about the importance of the 14th Amendment. Yeah, they're all. You cut him off right before he pulls the sword from the stone, though, and says, "Bring me the head of my father."
It's an older video from earlier in the year that went overlooked. Only a few thousand views. What are we supposed to do about this? Honest question. Honest question for those that are watching that want to, comment and share and ask your friends, ask your family. Jamie,
please write something in here. Please make this video actually have some fucking meaning to it, because somehow this show has 1.2 million subscribers and only 60,000 views. Pots. Sorry. It seems out of balance. Is that weird? It seems weird.
Jamie Raskin says Congress must disqualify Trump and predicted civil war conditions. How do we avoid that scenario?
Well, we're planning on voting him out, essentially. Yeah.
I don't think you can.
Yeah, you can. I think we just win the election. Looks like that's the way it's going to go, and he's going to lose again.
It's funny because in my earlier segment, we we're talking about the potential for civil war, and you've got this writer saying it can't happen. But forgive me, if I go to the Democrats and say, guys, please, if the American people vote for Trump, Trump needs to be president, they're going to say no.
Yeah, no, that's not exactly what's happening. No. That's no. That's not what we're going to say. We're just going to beat him at the ballot box. If you go to Trump and say, if Harris wins, she's going to be president, Trump will say no. And all of his followers will rampage and attack people because they can't believe he lost fair and square like he did last time, and that he lost just like he lost the popular vote the first time he ran.
Raskin is literally saying here that when the rampaging Trump mobs are out,
that he's going to need a bodyguard. He's saying he's going to need a bodyguard. That these assholes who built the gallows on the Capitol lawn last time are going to show up again and try to kill everybody.
They're going to say, sorry, Trump's disqualified. Now let's entertain what that means. There's no reality where Trump loses the election and then they come out and say Trump's disqualified. They just come out and say Trump lost.
I think they were talking about being on the ballot earlier in the year because he led an insurrection and because the Supreme Court, they were talking specifically about making it a matter of constitutional law that somebody leads an insurrection like something like January 6th, automatically they can't be on the ballot anymore. That's what he's talking about, being disqualified back then. And that's the work that they were doing. That's why it's an older video. Now that he's obviously, been through the convention and all that kind of stuff, what he's going to do is just have to lose fair and square again.
They say there was a fair election. It was free and fair. It was the most secure, and Trump lost. If Trump wins, that's when they must move to disqualify him.
No. He's not going to win. And if the idea is that if he wins, there should be a peaceful transfer of power, and he should act like a fucking grown up. He just won't.
What he is saying is
that that he shouldn't have the right to be on the ballot in the first place because he ran an insurrection. But then when either if he was disqualified or he loses, there's going to be a mob of fucking violent creeps bringing the fucking Confederate flag to the Capitol again.
When it comes to the electoral vote count, the certification on January 6, 2025, he is saying Democrats must block that from happening.
No, he isn't. He's saying that should be a matter of constitutional law, and the Supreme Court ruled on it. And if they're not going to see this and deal with it, then he will go through. That's what he's talking about.
How am I supposed to reconcile the Democrats and simmer things down when they are threatening to overturn the election and remove the duly elected president?
Well, I don't know. My guess would be don't take Charlie Kirk's cut of speech at a bookstore as the entire conversation and what was being discussed. And also take seriously when Trump says he thinks that we're not going to have a country if she wins and it'll be over.
What do you say? Because I guarantee you, you go to Democrats and you ask them and they're going to say they should. Okay. I don't have to tell you.
The disqualification process should have been on the ballot. That's the point. He ran an insurrection. None of us are going to make this argument after the fact, stupid. He's just going to lose.
If we had a clean election, my friends, that was plainly visible, paper ballots, completely and literally secure to the point where you knew for a fact, and Kamala Harris won, I'd be upset. But that'd be it. I'd prep.
Well, good. We will watch for that. I think you're actually going to be loud and angry. That's going to be my guess. And probably there'll be at least a week of it's over.
I'd buy gold, probably.
Well, yeah, you seem stupid.
There's some billionaire who's saying if Kamala wins, buy gold.
Some billionaire? He's good. I like that guy's stuff. I read most of his stuff. It's at somebillionaire.com, right? He doesn't tell you who he really is, obviously, which is a problem.
I'm not giving any financial advice on that one. But when the candidate you like doesn't...
Really? We shouldn't take your financial advice? I don't think we're taking your financial advice. I think we're just listening to some billionaire.
Win, we just try and live our lives and carry on. That's how elections are supposed to work. Even if it is seriously bad, we have to do the work, the cultural work, and try and win next time.
Right. And so you think January 6th last time was bad?
If the election looks, I don't know, let's just call it fishy, then we advocate for proper adjudication.
Like we had last time. Bunch of court cases and recounts and shit, and he still lost.
But that's about it.
That wasn't it last time. That was it. That's what happened last time. 60 court cases, bunch of recounts over and over. Everybody, like Republican governors, Republican secretaries of state, all looking at the vote going, nope, that's the count. That's real. And Trump still got his people together on the fucking lawn and had a march down there, walk down there peacefully and patriotically. But as soon as you get there, you might have to fight or you're not going to have a country left. And you got to be really loud. And we got to show them what strength looks like.
In this regard, they're telling us outright there's no circumstance where Trump wins and they're going to let it run. What's the only outcome? That is going to be chaos.
Or he just loses, I guess. And again, this was about him being on the ballot in the first place, not on January 6th.
The one thing we have to have happen in that case, my friends, Donald Trump must win. Republicans must win in Congress and the Senate.
Okay, so if that doesn't happen, then civil war. Gotcha. Okay, great.
Prevent Congress from being able to pull anything like this off. I'm pretty sure that Congress gets sworn in on January 3rd, and it will be the new Congress then. I could be wrong about this, but I think it's the new Congress.
You're wrong about this.
Then. Actually, let me make sure this is all correct. When does Congress term end? Because I think January 3rd, right? It's not term, it's the session. It's the session of Congress. And it's, they can't tell me, can they? When is the end?
Oh, dear.
Of congressional session. Man, you know what? I'm going to sit here and do the work.
Real quick. Probably doesn't end before they count the electoral votes. Probably, don't, if you just, all right.
When does Congress get sworn in? How about that? Because I'm pretty sure it's January 3rd. January 3rd following each election year. And so I'm pretty sure, just to clarify, does that mean new Congress certifies the 2024 election? And that may not be the case. Yes, the new Congress will be responsible for the election on January 6th, joint session of Congress. This means that Republicans have to win the House. If Democrats gain the majority in the House and Trump...
Yes, that's Marjorie Taylor Greene was in charge of everything. That's exactly how it works.
Somehow wins, however that happens, then they're just going to block him and they're going to say he's not president. Bye. That'll be weird.
You mean the ones, hold on, the ones that got voted in? So the new House gets voted in. Democrats take over the House. And somehow Democrats take over the House, but Trump still wins. And they have to, all right. This is getting very complicated.
I don't know what to expect after that. So, my friends, I guess I hope you're paying attention. I hope you're preparing for the worst, but hoping for the best.
Jesus Christ. Does Glenn Beck send you, like, successories to read on the air? Oh, my God. Was it just me, or was that just painfully devoid of any useful information whatsoever? I failed to see what actually occurred in that entire clip. Anybody? I'm dead serious. Was anything spoken of in a way that even was even the premise of enlightenment on any particular topic or idea, or new information added to the conversation? That I don't know what happened. I don't know what that was. Yeah. Yes. By the way, somebody said, if he's under investigation, why is he still in the air? Because he has every right while you're under investigation to speak all you want. And also, he was supposedly the victim in this, which again, they just had plausible deniability. Let me tell you something. Again, if somebody creates gets a homogenous group of thinkers together, hey, you're all right-wing nut jobs. Cool. I want to pay you guys $100,000 a piece for videos you just crank out that are absolutely meaningless. Take no time at all. Take no homework, no extra work whatsoever. Just slap them out, and I'll give you $100K. They don't have to deliver on a product. They don't have to have a certain number of votes or views. None of that shit. I'm just going to give you $100K for every video, sight unseen. What can I do with the money? Well, I would presume you take it to your channel, which is exactly in content like everyone else in this network, and boost it. You can hire publicists, you can hire editors, you can get gear, you can pay your bills with it, you can do anything you want. And all you got to do is crank out a video that it doesn't even have to mean anything. So how is this not money laundering? It is. I mean, except unless, of course, it's a FARA violation, then it's not technically money laundering. I'm paying you for a service. I'm just bank shotting it through bullshit, which is exactly what it was.